Well, hey, Movement. It is good to see you here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam, and we are in week 2 of our series called In My Opinion. And in my opinion, there's two types of people in this world. There are those that would agree with me when I say that Chick-fil-A has this superior fry, the best fry, and then there are those of us that would be wrong when they say that any other fry is better than the Chick-fil-A fry. Now, you have your right to your opinion, and I have my right to mine. But I tell you what, let's spark a healthy debate. If you like a different fry than Chick-fil-A, go ahead, comment down below, and let's see if we can get a healthy debate going. If you love Chick-fil-A fries, you like those waffle fries with the Chick-fil-A sauce and the spicy chicken sandwich, comment down below, and I'm going to give you a big old thumbs up and something like that, and we'll give each other props for having the right opinion when it comes to fries. Now, that's a pretty silly opinion to have, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of joking, but kind of not. So there's also two types of people when it comes to the way we respond when someone would hurt our feelings, or they would sin against us, or they would make the mistake. There's two types of responses that we generally have. And I want to be clear right up at the top of our message and our time together. I am not talking about how we should respond when there's cases of abuse. If there's mental, physical, social, emotional, sexual abuse happening and you know about it or it's happening to you, let somebody know that can do something about it. So let a teacher know, coach know, parent, officer, pastor know. We don't want to shame you. We want to help. We want to be there for you. So that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is when somebody offends us. When somebody hurts us and says something about us that's not right, that's not fair, and it hurts. How will we respond when that happens? Will we respond ready to fight with closed fists? Ready to punch back? Ready to text back? Ready to snap them back? Ready to Instagram DM them back? Or will we respond with an open hand, seeking peace? Now, there's two different ways to respond, and that's basically the ways to respond. Now, we're going to get into what they sound like, though. So what do they sound like, so that we can kind of call it out and name it for what it is? A closed fist response would sound something like this. That's what you always do. I can't believe you did that again. You know that hurts. You always do that. You never respect me. You're continually doing this again. I can't believe that. I'm so disappointed in you. You're just like your mom. You're just like your dad. You're just like your big brother. Why can't you be more like your big brother? That would be more of the shaming, closed fist, I want to fire back at this person response. And normally that just sets a fire. Normally that takes things from bad to worse. Everyone ends up with black eyes at that point because we're swinging fists, right? How many of y'all find it difficult to respond correctly when someone hurts your feelings, when someone says something that's not right, it's not okay, they sinned against you, but you still find it difficult to respond correctly? You find it hard. I do too. Now, here's the thing. There's also an alternative response, like we said before, that open-handed response. And what that response sounds like is this. It sounds like someone that would say, listen, I know you must be hurting because you're speaking that way about me. So can I listen to why you would feel that way? Why would you say that about me? How can I help understand what you're going through? Listen, I know times are dark and things are really difficult, but you don't have to take it out on me, okay? I'm not the enemy. How can I help you? What can I do to make sure that you're okay? Do you need me to pray for you? Is there something going on that's causing you to say that? I know things seem bleak, but I want to let you know God still has a plan for your life, and I want to forgive you for what you said about me. I want to forgive you for what you and how you hurt me. Now, that's not always an easy thing to do. I know in my life it's been very, very difficult for me to not respond with clenched fists and instead respond with open hands. But Paul, one of the writers of the Bible, encourages us to respond with open hands instead of closed fists. And he says it like this. In Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 through 3, the Message version, it reads like that. It says, Live creatively, friends. If someone falls into sin, forgivingly restore them. Someone messes with you, forgivingly restore them. If someone says something bad about you, forgivingly restore them. That's so difficult. If you're anything like me, that's really hard to do. Why would he say for us to do that? He goes on to say, saving your critical comments for yourself. Save your critical comments for yourself. That's even harder to do, because if you're anything like me, you've got a text ready to send. You've got a response on deck. Those of us that are really creative with our mind, we've got some venom to spit. We've got an insult on the tip of our tongue ready to go. And we find it hard to not respond with a clenched fist and to respond with an open hand and an open heart. And Paul's asking us to do that. He says that things are actually going to go better for us if we respond with open hands. Why in the world would he say that when it feels in the moment like we're the ones being taken advantage of, and the only way to get justice is to swing back? Why would he say that? He goes on to explain, you might be needing forgiveness before the day's out. So stoop down, reach out to those who are oppressed, share their burdens. Reach out, open hand posture, share their burdens. Hey, is everything okay at home? Hey, are you doing all right? You been getting enough sleep? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Are you angry? How can I help? Do you just need somebody to listen? And again, these are like brother, sister, friend relationships that I'm talking about here. Maybe parents as well, and teachers and things like that. Somebody that says something to us and it just hits us the wrong way, and we want to respond wrongly. But instead, we respond with an open hand posture. Paul says, if you think you are too good for that, sometimes, to be honest, I feel like that. And maybe you do too. You're like, I'm too good for that. He says, if you think you're too good for that, you are badly deceived. Here's what Paul is saying. When we sin, when you sin, when I sin, when we mess up, when we hurt somebody's feelings, we don't need to be shamed. We need a savior. We don't need to be shamed for that. We need a savior. We need somebody to save us from our sin, the things that we did wrong, the times when we messed up. That's what we needed. We don't need somebody to come and to shame us. So for that reason, that's why we choose the open-handed response. Why? Because that's exactly what God did for us. When he saw us in our mess, when he saw us in our sin, when he saw us doing everything that was wrong, when he saw us doing those things, he didn't send Jesus to shame us. He sent Jesus to save us. So God's demonstrating that open-handed policy, that open-handed posture to us when we didn't deserve it. So that's why we can generate that type of response. And I had a friend, this is a great story, I had a friend that needed that type of response. He did not need a closed fist response. He was out on his dad's golf cart with his friends, and his friends were trying to do donuts in this golf cart, right? So they were trying to spin this golf cart and trying to get it to do donuts. If you're thinking about doing that, bad idea. Stop thinking that right now. Horrible idea. Don't do it. Because it ended badly for him. And so his friend was trying to do donuts in the golf cart, and he's like, man, get out of the driver's seat. I got this. I know how to do this. And he started to try to do donuts on his own, and he flipped the golf cart. Right? So all of his friends almost got hurt. The golf cart's on its side. It's not starting. They can't get it back up. And as soon as all of this goes down, my friend is thinking, oh no, my dad is going to be so angry at me. He's going to be so upset. He's going to ground me for life. I'm never going to get my driver's license, because this happened before he actually had a driver's license. So he's thinking, oh my goodness, the worst is about to happen. So he tries to fix the problem on his own. He actually gets his brother involved on it and says, hey, can you come help me with this? And his brother's not even able to start the golf cart. His brother's not even able to get the golf cart back upright. And finally, he goes to his dad. He goes to his dad, and he's expecting, because he messed up. He messed up. He did what was wrong. He's expecting his dad to kind of have that closed fist response of like, why did you do that? That's so silly. That's so dumb. That's awful. Why did you do that again? You always do stuff like this. Not to say that that's his relationship, but it would have been a fair response. It would have been an understandable response from a father to say, why did you do that? You know better than that. But instead of having that response, and I love this response that his dad had, he responded by kind of laughing a little bit and going, all right, let's go fix it. So he went out to where the golf cart was. They both got it upright, worked on it a little bit, started it back up, and it's as good as new. Now, here's why I tell us that story. It's because when we sin, when we mess up, when we do what we know is wrong, we don't need someone to shame us. We don't need someone to come in and throw down a heavy hand. We need someone that's going to save us. We need Jesus. And that's exactly God's heart towards us. And so that's how we're able to treat people like that. It's not because we're so great. It's not because we're so good. It's not because we're so compassionate and we're just a better person, or we're just a peaceful person, or we're just somebody that really loves people. It's not because of any of that. It's because we understand and realize, wait a second, this is how God dealt with me. When my temper was out of control, he didn't shame me. He sent Jesus to save me. When I was messing up on purpose, he didn't send Jesus to shame me. He sent Jesus to save me. When I was gossiping, when I was spreading rumors, when I was saying hurtful things, when I was saying nasty things about other people, when I was flipping out on my parents, when I was flipping out on my brother or sister, when I was cheating on tests, and I'm not saying I've done all of that stuff, but what I'm saying is when we were doing things like that, God didn't send Jesus to shame us. He sent him to save us. And so because Jesus did that for us, for you and for me, now all of a sudden we look at other people and go, you know what? Instead of shaming you for what you said, even though it did hurt and it was wrong, I get to respond to you exactly the way God responded to me, which is instead of shaming us, he pointed us to Jesus, the one who could save us. So this week, here's our big challenge. This week, here's our big goal. What I want you to think of right now, wherever you're sitting, wherever you're standing, wherever you're listening to this, I want you to think of something. I want you to think of how you can offer forgiveness to somebody that did you wrong, that said something nasty about you, that said something that really hurt you, and maybe start to offer them forgiveness. Forgiveness in your own heart first, and say, you know what, I release you from any need to get even with you. I'm not going to send a text. I'm not going to go off on you. I'm not going to blow you up on Instagram. I'm not going to call you out in class. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to start with forgiving you in my heart. And then I want us to move on to actually sending them a text and saying, hey, I forgive you. Or face-to-face, or Zoom, or whatever the case might be, and say, hey, listen, brother, hey, listen, sister, especially at home, because this can get complex when it's in the home. Hey, listen, I know what you said was wrong, and it did hurt me, but I want to let you know I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to forgive you. And again, the whole reason for that is not because we're so awesome. It's not because we're more disciplined than other people. It's not because we're just better. It's because that's exactly what God did for us by sending us Jesus. It says that he so loved the world that he sent Jesus. He so loved us that he sent Jesus. Not because we were so good and we earned it and we deserved it. So when we view other people, that's the lens that we see them through. So again, we want to adapt into the type of people that forgive when they're wronged, and that demonstrate that open-handed policy, that open-handed posture of, hey, listen, I understand things must be very tough. I understand you're probably hurting. That's why you said those things. How can I listen? How can I help? I'm here to forgive. I'm here to help. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to understand. And that's going to be difficult, movement. That's going to be difficult. I'm not saying that's going to be easy for us to do, but I guarantee you, if you try it, it'll yield results that you'll like. It'll yield results of family that has healthy relationships, of friendships that have healthy, stable friendships. And it won't yield close-handed combat to where you're swinging fists at people, and every time someone says something, you're ready to swing, because that is an incredibly large burden to live under. So this week, what are we going to do? When someone offends us, instead of responding with a closed fist and ready to swing, we're going to extend an open hand, because that's exactly what Jesus did for us. That's exactly what God did for us. So that's my challenge for us this week, Movement. As usual, we have Zoom groups available. We have Zoom small groups available. So if you haven't yet downloaded the Zoom app, I would highly encourage you to do that right now, and then leave a comment wherever you're watching this from, and we will get you those Zoom links. We know that life is better together. We know that life is better with friendships and with relationships, and we don't want you to miss out on those during this season. So please go ahead, download the Zoom app, and then drop a comment to us, and we will get you in those small groups. But for now, we love you, Movement. That was week 2. Peace.